Manic and Chill is back post-draft. We are going to be talking about the rookies, Shane. We now have landing spots, and we have some changes and some different approaches that have already played out in some of our leagues. This is going to be the time where this is going to matter most. So we are not below just going through and doing our post-NFL draft mock draft. You want to go 3 rounds or 4 rounds? How are you feeling? I know you hate 4th rounds of drafts. This class is not fun to go into the 4th.
No, I'm going to say this. No, because I don't support 4-round drafts. I don't want to give the impression that I support that. And you know what? People like it.
And it's good practice because I think I had like 6 drafts that started today and a bunch starting later this week and next weekend. Just by chance, who is your most drafted rookie thus far? Through the start, anybody come to mind of somebody where you're like, man, I've gotten that guy like 2 or 3 times already?
Malik Neighbors and then Rome Odunze.
Interesting. Yeah, Malik Neighbors is mine. I think it's just because you and I have always been like Malik Neighbors at the very top. And so anytime I have the 103 or 104, especially, I took him one time at 103 where my QBs were already set. But all the other ones, I'm just sitting there going, all right, I'll take him if he's there at 104. I think it's all just been 2 times. In the last 6 hours or so, I've taken him at the 104 when he's just sitting there. So good deal. We're going to do a 12-team start 11 super flex, obviously 1.75 tight end premium. No other fancy stuff. No point per carry, 30-man roster, start 11, lineup league. Only the point per carry in the start 11 is really the caveat of what we're going to change here. So I will let you start. Now, do you want to go, just to spice it up, do you want to do, you get 1, then I get 2, like we do a snake draft, just you and I, or do you want to just go back and forth?
Let's do not back and forth, the other option. I'll do snake. 1, you do 2.
We don't have a team here. We have no team, no context. You don't have CJ Stroud and Patrick Mahomes. You don't have no quarterbacks.
Right.
So no context. And why would you make this pick? Who are you taking and why are you making the pick at 101?
Taking Caleb Williams. It's a super flex league. Got to stick to your principles, right? In super flex, what do you want to do? You want to get an elite quarterback. You just do. At least one. And, we've talked about this since the beginning of time. The cheapest time or the cheapest place to ever get a rookie quarterback or an elite player or a quarterback in general would either be the startup or rookie drafts. This might be one of the few times in your life that you get to get an elite quarterback for just 1 rookie pick. Marv Harrison's nice. If Caleb's off the board and Marv's there, I'm obviously slamming that pick. But 101, I think you gotta stick to your process. I would not begrudge anyone that went Marv Harrison 101 if their quarterback room is stacked, though. I think both, obviously, Marv Harrison is next level generational. I hate using that term. Hopefully, they can edit that out. He's a next level prospect. But yeah, I'll go Caleb Williams at 101.
Caleb Williams is now quarterback 7 on Keep Trade Cut. He is right behind Joe Burrow. He is about to pass Joe Burrow and probably soon Jalen Hurts. So he's there. He's arrived. He's pretty much, I don't want to say he's capped out, but he's pretty close. He's close to CJ Stroud, Shane. Give him a couple good games, and he's CJ Stroud. And you know where we're at on CJ Stroud. It's no shade. It's just he's probably back down in that range where he's not worth an extra first on top of Caleb Williams. So real quick, how many QBs would you take over Caleb Williams? I assume it's not even Joe Burrow over Caleb Williams. No. It's probably only Lamar Jackson or Caleb Williams. I think I'd go Caleb.
Yeah, that's one that's
with his weapons and just the potential.
And we already know the market doesn't like Lamar Jackson.
He's 28. He's been injured. I love Lamar, but can't you see the fall coming with any sort of disruption in what he is right now? I'm going Caleb.
Yeah, dude. People were trying to fade him last year. When they didn't know if he was going to be on a team. I don't know why I air quoted that, but yeah, you remember. But yeah, people looked for a reason to fade him. So obviously Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, very different. Who am I thinking?
Stroud.
Who am I missing?
I would take Stroud over Caleb Williams, but like I said, the outcome is probably very similar. As long as Caleb shows he belongs like very quickly, I literally can see week 4, we're going Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud are in the same tier, and there's no question about it. So quarterback 4 or 5, that's where we are. So Caleb Williams, 101. 102, I'm definitely taking Marvin Harrison. That's an easy pick. Right. I think the debate is almost the same between Marv and Caleb. Where do they stack up amongst their peers? If you told me Marv is wide receiver 5 and Caleb is tight end or quarterback 5, this is the same debate. Which position do you want? Which position do you need? I do lean with the quarterback just because if we're talking in this range of quarterback, can you trade Justin Jefferson for Patrick Mahomes, Shane? No.
Not often. No.
Can you trade Jamar Chase for Josh Allen? No.
No, not that I've seen.
So blow for blow, the QB 5 is going to be more valuable than the wide receiver 5, typically.
Right.
So I lean Caleb for that reason, but it's essentially the same debate. Where does Marv stack up amongst the receivers versus where does Caleb stack up amongst the quarterbacks? So Marv 102, this is where do you want to get risky? Because I could also sell you where Lamar Jackson gets passed up by Jaden Daniels within a couple weeks. You're going, well, he's just a younger Lamar Jackson. Why would I take Lamar when I can get the guy that's 5 years younger? I'm going to go Malik Neighbors over Jaden Daniels, only because I feel if Malik Neighbors is good, which I like his landing spot, meaning I think he's going to be the man right away, I'm going to be able to do a little more quicker with Malik Neighbors, in my opinion. They're literally in the same tier. It's a B version of Caleb versus Marv. It's Malik versus Jaden. So I assume you are going Jaden Daniels 104, which you already put in the chat. So that's an easy pick. 105, though. I've had a couple picks at 105 or 106, and I'll tell you about one that I had earlier today. But where are you leaning 105? This is where you kind of have to have some conviction.
Yeah, so 105, and I want to preface this by saying the players that I'm thinking about taking at 105, you generally don't have to from what I've seen in rookie drafts, right? But who do I think is the 105? It's Drake May. I understand that he's been surpassed by J.J. McCarthy. One of our patrons shared with us today that Drake May went 110 in a rookie draft that he was in, which is just mind-boggling. I can't even say the word. Mind-boggling. I was trying to say mind-bogglingly stupid, and I still can't say the word right, so I probably shouldn't. Either way, insane to me that Drake May would go that late. It's funny, right? And someone said it in the chat too, in the patron chat, and I promise I'm not just trying to sell that. On the drive this morning, someone noted, this time last year, what did we say about CJ Stroud's landing spot? You need to bet on the talent at one point and then go, oh yeah, Drake May was also the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft. I'm going Drake May. Sure, it could blow up in my face, but so could JJ McCarthy if he's just not that good, who is the guy that generally goes here. So I'm going to go Drake May. 105,
106 is a good spot. I will go JJ McCarthy at 106. 107, isn't it funny how every 2 picks, there's kind of a little bit of a debate. Like May and McCarthy, there's a debate. And then now we're in a 1.75. Odunze versus Brock Bowers is a debate. I'm going to lean the positional advantage and go Brock Bowers in a 175. But again, if you told me, hey, my league just doesn't care about tight ends much because it's only 1.75 and, going to buy a Dallas Goedert or a Jake Ferguson or a Freiermuth is easy. I can go do that anytime. Why would I waste a 107 on Brock Bowers when I can get a top 10 receiver tied to a number 1 overall pick at the 107? If there was no JJ McCarthy and no Malik Neighbors, you're going Rome Odunze is another Garrett Wilson, he's another guy. There's no way he should go at 107. So I'll go Bowers, but it feels like these two are a tough debate. I assume 108. What are you doing?
Oh, it's Odunze. You took the guy I would have taken at 108, at 107. It is funny. Like you just noted, it's like these little pairs. All right, well, if this guy's gone, I'm taking this guy. If this guy's gone, I'm taking this guy. I mean, it feels that way for at least, like you said, the first four picks. It's like, all right, if Caleb's gone, I'm going Marv and vice versa. If Malik's gone, I'm going Daniels and vice versa. Same with May and McCarthy. Actually, same with Bowers and Rome Odunze. So it's funny. We've gotten to where we thought we were going to get to. The order has changed, but this is pretty much what we thought the order was going to be. Now, this is me and you. I've already seen on the Destination Devy mocks that we've put out there that it's changed. This is not the consensus. I'll tell you that right now. Not from what I've seen. Now, obviously, most of those drafts took place right after the NFL draft. So, maybe people didn't have time to digest it. But there's definitely been movement. But it's funny to see me and you kind of sticking to our convictions and not really changing a lot. Maybe than other, where some of the people are going in the draft.
Draft starts here, Shane. 109. Rome Odunze off the board at 108. Who are you taking? This is where people are really going to start tuning in. This mark of the show, highlight it, throw a target right in the center of the screen. This is where everybody needs to go. The draft starts here with Shane. What are you doing? And this is the part where Shane was muted.
Definitely. Right on cue. So typically here, I don't see this guy going off the board until I draft him at 110, at least in a couple drafts. But I am going to go ahead and take him now. And if I missed someone, I'm sure you'll take them next, and I'll lament it. But no, we're taking the serial killer, Brian Thomas Jr., BTK. Well, it's actually BTJ, but still.
One initial changes the whole conversation.
It does, doesn't it? Right. Yeah, if he was BTK, it's a very different conversation. You should not be drafting serial killers to your roster. Just that's free advice right there. Don't draft serial killers to your fantasy football roster.
So why Brian Thomas Jr. over Xavier Worthy? Because I've seen both of those debated as which one do they have higher, which one's wide receiver 4. I know you've always been on BTJ, but remind everybody why.
Yeah, one, I think he's got a better profile. I think Xavier Worthy is pumped up because of his landing spot, right? And what have we seen when it's just based on landing spot? And I don't want to say it's just landing spot, but he was going in second rounds of mock drafts before the NFL draft. What we see is that is a soft conviction, and they lose value quickly. He doesn't even have to be as bad as Sky Moore, but let's say he's slightly less than JSN this time next year. He's just a dude. He's just a clogger on your roster. Now, obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. could not hit as well, but it feels like Worthy is more pumped up by his landing spot than Thomas is. That landing spot still does have Rashee Rice. Yes, he's going to miss a few games. It does have Hollywood Brown. I mean, it does have a history of going through the tight end, who's going to play at least another year after this season. Or I don't know if that contract was maybe just Fugazi one to give him money, but it looks like he's going to be playing through at least 2025 based on the contract he signed.
I do think it is a 1-year deal for Hollywood, but, we'll see. That's the type of player. Remember, Juju Smith-Schuster signed a 1-year deal with the Chiefs, and then he wanted to come back because the grass isn't always greener when you've had quarterback play you don't love a lot of your career, or offenses you don't love a lot of your career, and then you go to the Chiefs and you're like, yeah, I kind of like it here, like they pay me okay, and it just feels like he could come back, which if the narrative you're using for Xavier Worthy is that Hollywood Brown is going to leave, that's not usually one of the things I want to have as the first 3 or first 2 positive attributes is the other guy's going to leave. That's typically not an attribute selling myself on a player, but I am going to take Xavier Worthy at 110. Speaking of that, Xavier Worthy 110, it's a receiver that went in the first round to the Kansas City Chiefs that has a good profile. So if he whiffs, he whiffs, but if he doesn't, it's narrative city of what you could tell yourself people will do for Xavier Worthy. So I'm going to take him at 110. This is, again, literally this is the draft of pairs, because you could sell me on either of those guys at 109, 110. Those are the guys I've seen mostly at 109 or 110, unless the quarterback scoring is a little weird or the scarcity is X, Y, or Z. But I think those are usually the ones that go off the board there. 111, right now in this class, Shane, would you sell the 111 for a future first? 25 first straight up.
Yes. We've talked about this before, right? Class is deep, but we've also talked about that hasn't stopped players in this range from completely busting in the pass at a higher rate than the players at the top of the draft. So even though the class is deep, doesn't guarantee and it doesn't improve the odds these dudes are going to hit. If someone came at me, Brian Thomas, I think 109 is probably my cutoff. Like I moved it back from 108 to 109, but 110, 111, 112, obviously for a 25 first. Yeah, I'm going. Oh, look what position you put me in. Did you do this?
Well, I'm up. I'm up.
Oh,
I'm up.
Okay.
I'm up at 111, and I think I'm going to
Okay.
put you in an even tougher position, because the reason I asked you that question was not just to get your answer, because I was pretty sure you were going to say you would take the future first. I think this is a little bit of a blind spot. I would prefer a future first. It's much more liquid. I don't have to wait for it to turn into a future first because it's already that. But if you can't get that and you're stuck on the spot here, I'm going to take Michael Penix. Michael Penix, 111. Now, you don't know when he's going to play. He could play week 1. He could play in 2026 and a lot in between. But I also am very certain that when he plays, as soon as he's announced that he's going to play or start, you will be able to get a first. So you have to weigh, is the first I could get now? Can I even get one in my league? 1. If the answer is no, next thing would be, okay, can I draft Michael Penix? Because I think that's better than not taking a first. But if I can get a first, I also have to weigh, what pick am I getting? Am I getting somebody that I really don't want to bet on? Or can I maybe punt that late first that I'm just not super confident is going to be much better next year and draft a quarterback, which I think there's going to be just the same sell window. So I'm almost deferring my sell window to a time there might be even better QB available, or a better player available, or a better pick available when Penix starts. So I'm going to lean Penix, but this is probably the place where if I can get a future first, I'd rather do it. But I kind of view Penix as the last player in this class that is truly potentially worth a future first. So you are on the clock, 112, 201. Starts to get gross, but there's still some good players on the board. What are you doing?
I don't want to talk about it. It's Bo Nix at 112, and I'm not going to discuss that at all beyond that next question. So we're going to go Bo Nix at 112, and I guess I should discuss it. He's a quarterback in a super flex league, and just because I don't like him, that doesn't matter at this point of the draft. What
Top
matters
12 pick?
Is a top 12 pick.
Higher draft capital than Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields, who got at least 2 years starting.
Yes. So in theory, he could be good, right? He could be good. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong on Bo Nix. What matters is the market disagrees with me based on the rookie drafts that I've seen. Although Bo Nix is the one player that I've seen literally go all over the board, like as early as like 107 and as late as like 209 in drafts. It's pretty hilarious.
This is his ADP. It's 201. So it is where he goes.
Pretty funny to me. But no, you have to take him here, right? If for no other reason, if he comes out, I'm assuming he's the starter. There's almost no doubt he's the starter. And if he runs off a few good games, maybe then you could flip him if you don't believe in him. And if you do believe in him, you got him at the 112, and that's basically like free money right there.
I think one thing that we're underestimating with Bo Nix is this. He doesn't have the ADV, meaning people don't love him already. But I also think people acknowledge dynasty managers are smarter today than they were a couple years ago, Shane. They acknowledge he's in a bad situation. If he comes out and just looks average, people are going to go, well, he didn't really have any weapons. Mm-hmm. Like, I think he's actually going to get a pass as long as he just doesn't completely show he doesn't belong. And I think that's where the fact that he's going to be 24, he's not going to go out there and you're going to go, he's deer in the headlights. Like, I would bet he actually looks competent. And then you're going to go, but look at these guys he's throwing to. They suck. And then you're going to go, well, maybe it's not him. Maybe next year they need to suck and get a top 10 pick and actually draft a receiver and maybe go after somebody in free agency. You know what I mean? Like, I think he will get a pass similar to Will Levis, but I think he's a tier higher than Will Levis because he's a first rounder. But Will Levis came out and looked okay and then faded out, but he got a pass to where now he's still a viable asset that you can move. So I think that's the track for Bo Nix. That's probably the floor is like Will Levis's situation right now, but maybe a little higher upside because he was a first round pick and we know that he does have Sean Payton. I know you don't credit him for Drew Brees. I will take him managing my quarterback over Mike Vrabel.
That is a good point.
And whatever the Titans had last year. So
right.
201. What are you doing?